Ayo, what up gamers? Welcome back to another book review. Today we're going to be reviewing the book Francis of the Filth, and this is by George Miller, not to be confused with George Miller, the creator of Mad Max, the franchise. This is Joji Miller, also known as Filthy Frank. I'm a pretty big fan of Filthy Frank. He's one of the main reasons why I frequently used racist, homophobic, and anti-Semitic slurs as a child. He's a big inspiration of mine. I like his videos. And, you know, he wrote a book here. I've had this book for a while, just as kind of a collector's item. But now that I got back into reading, I decided I should finally get around to reading this so I can fully understand the Frank story. Now, some of you more casual Filthy Frank fans watching, you might be wondering, what in the world is there to write a book about related to Filthy Frank? But the real fans know that there is a deep lore to the Filthy Frank cinematic universe, the Filthy Frank cinematic omniverse, actually, because there's a whole multiverse of different universes known as the Omniverse in the Filthy Frank lore. There is a deep lore going on to the channel, and even in the videos where it doesn't seem like there's any kind of story to them, there is a storyline going on in the background of every single video. We meet many different characters from many different universes, the main ones being Frank himself.
It's Filthy Frank, motherfucker.
Pink Guy, Salamander Man, Safari Man.
Oh, Frank! Wow! Wow! ああ、ごめんな。俺はちょっとしこってたんだよ。これ見てごらん。俺はビクトリアの秘密が好きなんだ。すっごい美味しいよ。
Probably a few others I'm leaving out. All these characters have their own languages they speak that Joji created.
俺はおちんちんが大好きなんだよ。いや、俺はおちんちんが大好きなんだよ。アベマリー。
Schnitzel, ja, ja, Wiener, ja, ja, Schnitzel, ja, Schnitzel, Wiener, Mein Kampf, Hitler, Jews.
There's a unique form of measurement in the Frank Omniverse called chromosomes. That's a measurement of time, of currency, of power level.
Alright, give me the chromosome. Give it. Yeah! There we go. Good boy. That's some chromosome right there.
There's an evil dark overlord called Chin Chin, who's kind of the main antagonist of the franchise, who Frank has to make various sacrifices to in order to please.
俺はおちんちんが大好きなんだよ。
What do you want, Chin Chin? You have no business here. What are you doing in this realm?
俺はおちんちんが大好きなんだよ。
Sacrifices? I don't know any sacrifices at all. You're stupid. You're gay.
There was actually a fairly long period of time where Filthy Frank wasn't even the main person posting to the channel. He was actually briefly banished to a realm called the Rice Fields.
おちんちんが大好きなんだよ。俺はおちんちんが大好きなんだよ。
No!
And an imposter Frank took over called Fake Frank, who you can recognize by the kamikaze helmet that he wears. Anytime you see the character wearing kamikaze helmet and glasses, that is not the real Frank, that's the fake Frank. So yeah, there's a deep storyline going on to the Filthy Frank channel that a lot of people don't even realize. And the last video he uploaded to the channel was a promotion for this book, which supposedly explains, you know, all the unanswered questions of the Frank universe. And I've had this book for a while, just as kind of a collector's item. But I decided, you know, now that I'm back into reading, I should probably get around to reading this because I never did. So that's why this video is like 5 years too late. But nevertheless, we're here. So I actually did a fair bit of homework for this book. I rewatched every single Filthy Frank video, including all the videos that are now deleted off of YouTube, which unfortunately is a lot of videos. A growing number of videos are being banned off of YouTube as their terms of service gets more and more not okay with edgy content. But fortunately, there's an archive of every single Filthy Frank video on archive.org and a wiki fandom page that lists every single video in order that they were posted in. So it's fairly easy to access the videos, even the deleted ones. And his videos, by the way, have aged like a fine wine. Just chef's kiss, masterpiece. And it's kind of a testament to how sort of avid Joji's fan base is that they make this much effort to have the videos be available. I don't think any other YouTubers have, an archive of every single one of their videos or a wiki where they list every single video in order. So it is pretty nice that's there. But let's get into the book. So, my thoughts on the book are a little bit mixed. I really like the first half of the book. So yeah, I like the first half of the book. We get a lot about, Frank's backstory, how he became the person he is. We learn that he's actually half German, half Japanese, which, is different from Joji, who's half Australian, half Japanese. I don't think it's ever mentioned in the videos that Filthy Frank is German, but I think that's new in here. In his early years, he worked as a scientist in this German lab, which kind of explains a lot of the scenes in the videos where he's doing research and experiments.
I've been doing research. I've been doing research for 7 years, trying to find a groundbreaking discovery.
And we slowly get to see how he met, each main character. He meets, Pink Guy, Salamander Man, Safari Man. We get to see all these characters' kind of origin stories and how they met Frank. And he doesn't forget about the characters from the old videos as well. Red Dick.
I want to go over here like this. No!
Gourmet Papel.
No, it's not.
Alpha Centurion, which is the name of the midget character.
Hello? Bravo. Those are some nice muscles, man. Ooh.
And, Prometheus, they're all here.
Prometheus.
He didn't forget about anybody. There were even a few characters that I didn't even remember were in the videos until I looked them up, like Percy the Pigeon.
Percy the Pigeon? Where my eggs at? I heard you took some of my eggs!
And Dr. Sack.
Dr. Sack! Dr. Sack, I need your help!
Let me get this right. You want me to cure your naked, bald-headed man who throws up chocolate.
How'd you know?
It's not going to happen.
No, you don't understand. You have to help my naked bald friend.
No, that's not going to happen. I'm going to protect myself.
Whoa!
I didn't even remember these characters because they show up so briefly in the videos, but they do appear in the book. There also is kind of a problem with spelling errors in the book, or not just spelling errors, but kind of like just errors with how it's written, to where there are some points where it's even confusing, like what Joji was even trying to write. There was a point where he typed like the same paragraph twice in a row, but it was like written differently each time. It was kind of confusing in one of the chapters what he was even trying to say, so that was kind of a problem throughout the book. It's not too bad, but it definitely is noticeable. There is a lot of errors. There's also references to memes from the channel throughout the book. There's one scene where he grabs a gigantic clock and slams it onto the ground, screaming, "It's time to stop." And he does it with such powerful force that he's able to kill all these creatures attacking him.
It's time to stop!
Just a lot of things like that where it's references to, you know, little memes from the channel. When Frank is in the rice fields, there's this creatures there called the Tatums, I think in reference to Channing Tatum, because the only thing that they can say is, yeah. That's the only word that they can speak. The book also, you know, explains some things that aren't really clear in the videos. For example, why Pink Guy, you know, in the videos, he only speaks in, like, retarded grunts and moans.
What is wrong, Panky Poo?
Hey.
But then in the music, he's able to, you know, rap fluently.
Shut the fuck up. You're a fucking cunt.
They actually explain that depending on the realm Pink Guy is in, his intelligence level can actually change. You know, and in our realm, he basically is trapped in a retarded shell of himself, and that's why he speaks in grunts and moans. What I really liked about the first half of the book is he kind of creates this timeline where you can sort of figure out where each video is placed on the timeline. We even get the origin of, you know, how Frank acquired the apartment that a lot of his early videos are recorded in. He actually bought that apartment from Safari Man using chromosomes, and that's when a lot of the earlier videos take place. The videos also aren't all posted in chronological order. There's one video, the illegal crawfish racing.
And they're on! Alright, let's go! Come on, Sid! Come on! Come on, Sid! Let's go! 12! Come on, 12!
Where you realize from the book that that actually takes place much earlier in the timeline than it appears. You know, that was posted pretty late, but it actually takes place a little earlier than a lot of the videos that were posted before it. That's actually how he met Alpha Centurion. The rock, paper, scissors games videos with Red Dick and Prometheus, those are also explained where those fit into the timeline. I believe that was also an attempt to get chromosomes for Chin Chin. But yeah, it's just kind of cool to see how the videos fit into the timeline. A lot of the ways he kind of fits videos into the timeline seems like it was, you know, retroactive. It doesn't seem like it was really planned, especially the crawfish racing video. It seems like he kind of, after the fact, comes up with an explanation for how it fits into the timeline. But nevertheless, I really liked sort of slowly piecing together where each video takes place in the timeline. But that really only happens for like the first half. After a while, it kind of doesn't really do that anymore. It kind of lost me in the second half. The story kind of becomes a lot more disconnected from the actual videos. The book really only covers like half the videos on the channel. So a lot of the more recent videos aren't really covered in this book. You know, the stuff with Fake Frank and Dade and all the stuff with iDubbbz and Max Mofo, all those videos aren't really mentioned in here, which is kind of a big bummer. I was hoping to, you know, get more details about a lot of the stuff in the recent videos, or like what was Frank doing while he was banished and the real Frank had took over. Was there any interesting adventures he went on? You don't really get any of that in here. They kind of seemingly skip over it. When I got to the end of the book, like a certain character dies, and I'm like, in order for this character to be dead, we would have to be way far ahead in the timeline past any of the videos. But I didn't even realize when we had it caught up to the videos. So maybe there's like a time skip in here or something, but they skip over a good portion of the videos. All the stuff I mentioned about Fake Frank and Dade and all that stuff is just not in here. I don't know why that is. Maybe he just, you know, there was going to be another book or something, or I don't know. But it just kind of makes the book feel incomplete. I feel like there was really no reason to not include the more modern stuff. I assume maybe he did this because, you know, it's already pretty clear what's happening in the videos. Maybe he didn't want to sort of retread a lot of the lore, but I would have really liked to see like 5 or 6 extra chapters just covering the more recent videos. And the last chapter we get is called The Revelation. It's written by one of the original Neji, Generation 1. And He's basically recounting what he's been told by God. God is a character in the book, by the way. He's recounting what he's learned from God about the origins of the Omniverse and everything. And it's kind of confusing. It's kind of written like a religious text where it's very open to interpretation and very like metaphorical, to the point where it's kind of, you don't even really know what it's trying to say. My interpretation of it was that basically the Omniverse keeps restarting in a series of big bangs, but there are people that are reincarnated every time, and Pink Guy and Filthy Frank are two of these people that reincarnate every time the multiverse restarts. And basically we just get their origin story of how they came to be. You know, Pink Guy was supposed to be Frank's mentor to make him into the perfect specimen, but he made some mistakes and some bad traits got through, and that's sort of how Frank has some of his degenerate tendencies. That was my interpretation of it. I don't really know. It might be wrong, but overall, I think the book is probably worth a read if you're a really big Frank fan who's seen every single video. If not, it's not really worth it. It was a little disappointing that a lot of the newer stuff isn't covered, because that's some of the best stuff, honestly. But, you know, if you want to see sort of the origin stories of how Frank met all the characters, it's worth it. It's okay. It's good. It's a good book.